You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Forecast. I am your host, King Dawk, in the driver's seat in this motherfucker. But we may have to switch out, man. Did y'all get any lag on that?
It was a little bit. It was a little bit of lag.
But I got a lot of lag over here. So if that keeps up, we'll bail out of this little experiment that we have here. But again, the brothers are back. The forecast. We got a full crew. Nobody on injured reserves. Nobody out with a contract dispute. As you can see, not only did I negotiate a higher salary, but I negotiated a spot in the driver's seat. So, matter of fact, let me change this shit up right quick. Put this correct here. Get Mayhem in the penthouse where he's supposed to be. All right. So we got a couple of folks in the building already. We got Keisha Walker in the building. She says, gentlemen, we also have Liddy Jones. That's a unique name, Liddy Jones. What's going on, Liddy? Liddy? Do anybody know Liddy before I come with my Liddy joke? Do y'all know that?
I do
okay,
not.
Well, Liddy, tell us how you know him, how you heard of us, Liddy, and whatnot. Because I got some jokes. I need to see if you got a good sense of humor, so I can joke about what I immediately think about when I think about Liddy and the committee you on. And is Liddy a man or a woman? That's what we need to know. All right, we got the Blue Streak Freak in the building as always. That would be Mrs. Theodora Harper. And again,
hey, that's my man. Hey.
Okay, that's Rello. You just didn't know who it was.
Rello. Oh.
Okay. What's going on, Rello?
My man, my guy.
Good to have you, man. We also got May Flowers and April Showers in the building. What's going on, April? All right. Cool. All right. So let's just do some introductions here, touch bases with our host, and then we'll get into this review. As you see scrolling along the bottom of the ticker, we are reviewing Creed 3. So spoiler alert, if you have not seen Creed 1, Creed 2, or Creed 3, too bad. We're finna give it all to you. And I'm the kind of guy who I don't really care nothing about spoilers. I'm gonna still watch the movie if I think it's a good.
It doesn't change my perspective.
Right. So, all right, introductions. Mayhem, you up first, sir. How are you? What's in the drink, et cetera, et cetera?
I'm doing pretty good. Today was pretty good. Having an old Cuban, which was, I believe, established in 2005. It's not a very old cocktail, but pretty good. Just champagne and dark rum with simple syrup and lemon juice.
Okay, wait, see, I'm not much of I try to stay. Well, you didn't say any whiskey, right? You said champagne, dark rum, simple syrup, and lemon juice. And it's called what now?
It's called the Old Cuban.
Old Cuban, okay. Is she fine? Hell, I'll drink some of it.
I don't know, she's pretty damn good.
Okay, I may have to try that. Those got some drinks that I've been into.
Real quick before we move around the carousel here, I noticed you had it's either a 200-year-old distillery. I heard you say you had a rum yourself.
The one that the Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't looked. I had to be perfectly honest with you, man. I really hadn't looked at it. My neighbors brought it back to me from Jamaica, but I hadn't dug into it. So I'll look into it and try to
I've had
have
it
some
before. It's
information.
pretty good, but
Really?
it's pretty old distillery.
Yeah, she just warned me, that this ain't your mama rum. So
don't run up on that one.
Yeah, she warned me. Now, what about the food culinary situation this week? It seems like you've had a last week or two of being in a rhythm, and whatnot. So, what's been the most complicated thing you've done in the last 2 weeks?
Oh gosh, probably that bundt cake, the bourbon bundt cake.
The small one. Okay,
the
with
small,
the
because that thing you don't want to. The bourbon's got to be right. It can't be too strong, and you don't need too much of it. So, then there's a bourbon icing that goes on top of it. So you don't want to overdo it.
Right,
it's got to be just right. That was that one was a challenge.
Or you do want to overdo it. It just depends on your perspective.
Yeah, depending on what your palate is.
Yeah. All right, H-Rap, what's going on, homeboy? I see you in the movie studio. Talk to me.
For sure, I'm good, man. Same thing, same fight, different round.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you, man. H-Bye.
All right. I see you repping the end of the bench media down there. So we got H-Rap B in the building. And then the gentleman who put the BS NBS Network, Benjamin Sutter the Third, also known as Trey. You can't say the third without saying it like
you gotta have that
like Hurston Dow, right?
Hey, it feel weird as hell not being.
I love it.
It feels so weird. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to get used to this.
I wanted you to see how A-Trap feel every Monday. Shit, he feel weird too, dealing with your ass. So that's why
I do some of my best work.
I'm happy to see all y'all, man. Happy to see the crew back together, man. When this is a perfect movie for us to do,
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
Absolutely.
In fact, I went back and watched Creed 1 and 2 over the last couple of weeks, knowing this was coming up, just so I could refamiliarize myself with the story and whatnot. So, most definitely. All right, Facebook user. I'm not sure exactly who this is, but make sure you give StreamYard permission to publish your information on Facebook. Should be a link there. And Theodora, I think she's liking some of this bourbon. So she says, well, all right, so maybe we need to shoot her a little personal bundt cake up to her hometown so she can get lit. Her and the old man always out to eat somewhere. I want to know, they get income tax check back every month, I think. They always be out to eat somewhere. He act like he actually like us. I guess that Blue Streak freakness done got him, We got Trey Naturals in the building. What's going on? Get your beard care products from her. And I gotta say, Trey, and I'm not kidding you on this. I got a white woman in trouble on the cruise because she complimented me on my beard. And white dude asked, why are you? Because it looks nice, So appreciate the products for that. So again, I always like making white people fight each other.
That's our goal in life.
White
on white crime, baby. White on white crime.
Theodora says, H-Rap B for my brother. Yes. All right, so let's dig into this show. We are going to give our initial thoughts on it. Again, this is the Creed 3 review. So we'll start with H-Rap on your initial thoughts, sir.
I thought it was a moderate movie. I was a little underwhelmed. It was too stereotypical, but I enjoyed it. But it was just too predictable. Okay. But it was Michael B. Jordan. I've been rocking with him since he was Wallace. Since he started using
The Wire.
Right. So
he still had the idea though. Talking about the guy who I said he still had the idea though. That was one of his famous lines in The Wire.
Yeah, he still had the idea.
The gentleman who invented the chicken nugget. And the other dude was like, man, that dude who invented chicken nuggets, they ain't give him a piece of them nuggets or nothing. He's still down in the basement trying to think of his next idea.
Right.
He still had the idea though.
Pretty much. He wasn't moving from that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, Wallace. I forget about that character.
Yeah.
All right, Benjamin, your your initial thoughts, sir.
I was looking forward to it. And being Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, you got Jonathan Majors, who is on the rise. He was on the rise. He's still on the rise. So I was impressed. Obviously, seeing the first two and how they built the storyline. The third one, I felt like it was going to be even better with him having kind of creative control. So
right.
I felt like it was dope.
Yeah, and we'll dig into that creative control here in just a second as well. So for me, again, I'll start by reading the plot just in case you don't know. So in this particular Creed film, again, it is the third of the Creed films, and what would this be, Mayhem? Eighth of the Rocky franchise? Because they did Rocky 5, and then you basically had these three.
Then you had Rocky, 8. Then you had Balboa.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so that's 7 there. So this is
about
10,
maybe 11.
10. Wow. And I gotta tell you, out of all the long franchises like this, like Fast and the Furious, the Friday the 13th. I'm not. This is the only one that I'm like waiting for the next one still. This one I'm all in on. Right. Okay, I really am.
And this got decades. This has decades of history.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this real quick.
It's almost 50 years old.
Reading, I felt like they're setting his daughter up to eventually.
That is actually my very last note on this thing. Will Creed 4 be the daughter fighting? So that was exactly my note. So that's a very good point. So so this is the only franchise that I'm like, okay, clamoring for the next one. And it's the little Ivan, right? It's little 8-year-old Ivan, 7-year-old Ivan that's remembering the original Balboa. Adrian, and whatnot. Pull at your heartstrings. And how many of us didn't come out of the theater?
You were ready.
We were ready to fight. Even to this day, when people go to Philly, what do? They run up there.
They go to that statue.
Butkus, the dog from the first one, was a big deal. Talia Shire, how she blossomed into what she became. She's got some connections with the Godfather franchise. So again, some of the people that they've had in here, man, Mr. T, what's Creed, Apollo Creed real name? Is that slipping?
Withers.
Carl Weathers, and even he's got some crossover into some very famous movies like the Happy Gilmore, and playing Alligator ate his arm, Chubbs, I think, something like that.
Arrested Development
when his hand got ran over.
Dolph Lundgren. You got the tall Russian, his wife,
Bridget,
who is Bridget Nielsen. I think is what her name is. Who's an iconic, individual. So, and then even in this franchise now, you got some folks. Isn't the gentleman who playing the trainer right now? Didn't he play in The Wire too?
I think that's Avon.
Yeah, there you go.
Chicago's
own. You got a Wire connection.
West side of the building.
I had to do it.
And he was in Paid in Full. We got to do that.
That'd be a great throwback. And Dead Presidents. Y'all saw that?
Dead Presidents too?
No. I'm saying as far as a throwback review.
No.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
So write that down, being that's 2 of them, Dead Presidents or whatever you just said.
We got a throwback we need to do.
She's not 80s. I mean, she get to a point.
And matter of fact, let's just go ahead and producing on the air. One of the most popular radio stations in Dallas. It happens to be an all sports radio show, but when I say they are number 1 in all genres for I don't know how long, they won 4 Marconi Awards. They have discussions like this on the air. So why not just pull the tape off this thing and say, we right now as the forecast do all Black movie reviews. Either they got a Black lead character, a Black writer, director, Black storyline, or whatever. So we've been tossing around the idea about including other films in our reviews. In other words, not necessarily needing to have a Black major actor in it or actress in it, but telling it from a Black perspective. So later on, maybe if we got time, we'll tell our thoughts on that. But we'd like your thoughts as a viewer. Do you want to stick in our lane and show love to our community and give them the much needed pub, or do we want to go ahead and branch out and start railing on some of their shit.
Hey, it's gotta have one black person in it at least.
At
man,
least.
right?
At least.
The mailman.
And I'll tell you, I'm leaning toward, as being I'm leaning toward sticking right where we are, because I don't think we get enough pub overall, for some of our movies. And another thing, there's so much content that we got to do, right? You talk about, like a lot of podcasters will tell you, struggling for content sometimes is a thing. We don't have a struggle for content. We got so much out there that we're not even getting to just under these parameters. Imagine what we'll be dropping through the cracks if we go the other direction. So share your thoughts with us on that as well. I'll get to some of the comments once I read this little plot thing. So again, still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed is thriving in his career and family life when Damian, a childhood friend, and again, Damian is played by Jonathan Majors, a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, resurfaces after serving time in prison. He's eager to prove that he deserves a shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight to settle the score. Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damian, a fighter who has nothing to lose. This was released in March of 2023. As someone alluded to earlier, I think it was Ben talking about creative control. It was directed by Michael B. Jordan. So I love to see that. However, Sylvester Stallone is still in there as one of the producers, along with Michael B. Jordan. And then you got the Couglers in there, Ryan Coogler and Keenan Coogler. And then you also got Irwin Winkler and David Winkler. I wonder if they're Henry Winkler's boys. I hadn't heard about that, but I would imagine that would be a good
I can imagine. Right? That's not a very common name.
Yeah, we had, from a cast standpoint, of course, Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson, who plays his wife, Bianca. You can see her as such in several movies and TV shows like Westworld, the last 2 seasons, I believe. She is one of the bad chicks on that, bad guy, so to speak. Jose Benavides played Felix Chavez. Mila Davis Kent played their daughter, Amora Creed. You got Victor Drago, which was played by Flora Montiel. Canelo Alvarez in the place. You got Tony Little being played by Wood Harris. Of course, Felicia Rashad, again, a tie-in to the Rocky films of the past. You got Tony Blue playing Pretty Ricky. Spence Moore II playing the young Damian Anderson. Michelle Davison, Jacob Duran playing Stitch. And Kalani. If you're not familiar with Kalani, she is what I like to call a soul groove artist, one of the singer-songwriter types, smooth voice, got a vibe. She gonna have a little drink and a little smoke, and she gonna sing to you.
Pretty much.
She in the building. And then you got the Kenny Bayless, the referee, playing himself. So talk to me about that a little bit. We'll start with you, Ben, on how they tied in some of the real boxing figures. How did that add or take away from this movie?
I felt like it added to it because we know that the ref that you said, we know his face. We know Canelo. We know some of these artists. So to me, it added some realization to it, because obviously they're not really boxing, but to have real boxers gives you, I think, a sense of realness that sometimes a film needs. It didn't necessarily need it, but I think it added some necessary sauce to it.
Right. All right. H-Rap, your way. Well, how do you think the real boxing figures added to or took away from the?
I'll piggyback on what Ben just said, but I would disagree with him. He said it's not necessarily needed. I do think it's needed, especially with something like this. My main man Joe, he's like a little brother to me, and he always turns to me about sports, right? When he want to learn about sports. And he was like, I really didn't, me and him started watching, we started going to a big Illinois crib watching boxing. He was like, we'd be on our way home. He was like, man, I ain't think boxing was this. I always looked at it from the Rocky perspective. So when you add the Canelo Alvarez, and y'all forgot Bud Crawford was in it also. You add Bud Crawford, it harkens me back to He's Got Game. When they had all the professional coaches, they had all the professional players and things of that nature. It does add authenticity to it. And it's not just these fake punches being thrown. It looks realistic, and I like, it definitely adds that too. I think it does need it because with the advent of HD and things of that nature, everything is in your face. There is no faking. There is no, pulling punches. So when you add actual people from the world, it almost makes it seem as if this is really happening.
Yeah. And also, like, they was really training. I mean, like,
exactly,
really putting in work. Which they had real quick. They had a trainer. She's a real trainer. It's the female that was working with him, and they was showing a video of them, hitting the bag and hitting the pads, doing like a break in between the film. So Michael B. Jordan was putting in work for real. It wasn't a game.
Mayhem. What you think? Real boxing figures add to the film, take away from it?
I don't think it takes away. I think it makes it believable because even with hell, we've seen those from Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore. We've seen it with Space Jam. I mean, Space. I
thought about that too. Yep.
It's one of those things where I think it's in its own lane, but it's within that same atmosphere. So they throw that in there, which I enjoyed it. I think it makes it believable. Like you said, like, oh man, this is a real fight. They put money behind this. They got producers. They got sponsors. It's definitely. I think.
Agree. Yeah, I'm with A-Trap as well. And I think in some previous episodes or films in the Rocky family, I think they've even had Michael Buffer in there. If I'm not mistaken, I like the ring entrance. It's been a big deal, a big part of this. Going back to what I consider the best ring entrance one was on Rocky 4 with Apollo Creed coming out to Living in America, and he got James Brown on there. Hey, that was America. Look here, and promptly got killed. But anyway,
he wasn't taking him serious,
right? So again, I happen to agree with A-Trap on his authenticity comment as well. So I love it. I think it's necessary. I think it adds some credence to the film for sure. All right, a couple of comments. We got Miss Sonia to you. She says, "Sup, y'all," and she also hit us with a little yo earlier. Theodora Blue Streak Freaks, just like A-Trap says, very predictable, but good. Together We Break Productions. Y'all familiar with who this young lady is?
She's been in a few times.
Together We Break the Chains.
Okay.
Her and April Showers does this great show whereas they interview podcasters, and their goal is to add viewership to your podcast. They want to bring you in front of their audience, and their people will subscribe and come to you. So they super dope.
That's what's up.
Love it. Yeah,
we might have to do that, dog. Me and you have to go on there with them.
Yeah, they shit. I don't like inviting myself to stuff. I like them to come after me, but 214-876. And then we got fresh off of probation. Big Illinois is here. Say, fellas, what's going on, Big Ill?
Big Illy.
Let's see. Miss Sonia says she enjoyed Creed. Liddy, man, come on, homeboy.
Oh,
said he hasn't seen any of
Hello,
man.
Come on,
my guy.
Come on, fellow.
You got a homework assignment till next week.
I was gonna say, I think they all free on Amazon.
Hey, I'm about to say, man, just type in Creed on your whatever TV you got, man. At least watch one of them, man.
Yeah, whatever TV you got.
Come on,
Carl Weathers.
Okay. She was trying to help us with the name.
Such a black name too.
Who did? Flavor Flav backed her. Oh, he's talking about Bianca. I think he's talking about Bianca.
He's talking about.
No, he's talking about Brigitte Nielsen. Remember, she was on the Flavor of Love Smash.
Right. I forgot about
Project Mayhem in the building.
And that was one of the weirdest relationships in reality TV history, right there.
Yeah. But we got one in real life history going on right now. I can't remember who this older white actor is dating Khalees.
Who? Oh, you talking about? Was that real?
That's real. Bill Murray. That's it. That's real.
Oh, Bill Murray. Oh yeah.
That's real. That's real.
Murray got some game then.
That's nasty.
It is nasty.
Maurice Nesbitt got one of them civil rights movement names and shit, don't it, y'all? Maurice Nesbitt.
Big Mo, man.
What's up, baby?
With the black and white National Geographic clip.
Yeah, right. Keisha Walker said that black bald man that told Rocky throw it
Right.
down. Hey, he was in 70.
Go in the town.
Hey, that's the dude. I loved him as a character actor. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Benita Whitfield, the artist formerly known as Benita Whitfield. Look out for a new single coming the fall of 2023.
Oh yes.
Let's see. Again, Facebook user, give Facebook permission. She goes, we can do both, support our own and take their stuff and just call it reimagining.
that was from Christian Pollard, New View.
Okay.
All right,
okay, Christian. Yeah, Christian, give us a permission, Facebook permission to publish your name. Subscribe on YouTube. That's also for anybody on. If you haven't subscribed to the Forecast channel on YouTube, BS3 Network on YouTube, the End of the Bench podcast on YouTube, all of them. Queen 3 and King, give us some support. We could use it, I assure you. Sugar Daddy Williams.
This is my guy.
Now he just I'm a sugar daddy, but I don't tell nobody. I just do it. Sugar Daddy tell everybody what he doing.
Hey,
I love it. Now.
Make yourself known.
Pimpin' ain't dead. Pimpin' ain't dead, Sugar Daddy. I was just saying.
Somebody got to do it.
In the building. She goes, hey, everyone. Let's see. All right, I think. Chief Rocker in the building. He said, damn, dog back. What up, man? What up, Chief? What up, Chief? All right, we got CJ in the house from Elevate, the podcast here on BS3 Network, Thursday nights. Goes, what's good, y'all? All right, and this is another controversial statement by Liddy. I'm not a fan of Michael B. Come on. Matter of fact, I'm going to use this comment to segue into a point that I have. So thank you, Liddy.
That's what he does.
Okay, that's what he do. Okay.
No, he's telling the truth. He's not going to lie to you.
If Mama call him Liddy, I'm going to call him Liddy.
That man is nowhere near Liddy.
He must be using somebody else's page or something.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second because I had a note here that said Michael B. Jordan, John David Washington, and Jonathan Majors. Remember, we talk from time to time over the years with the forecast, who's the next Denzel, right?
Lakeith Stanfield.
There you go, Lakeith Stanfield. Okay, so we've talked about a few actors in those terms, in those glowing terms, and Michael B. Jordan has been one of them. Before I get to another aspect of this that I want to discuss, y'all talk to me about two things. Liddy Rello not being a fan of Michael B. What blasphemy. And what do you think this does in terms of Michael B. Jordan? He's directing now. Creed is a big franchise considered who is connected to. What do we think in terms of him, his flexibility in being able to do various roles, et cetera, et cetera? Ben, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think, man, Michael B is on that level. He's showing range. If you remember, we reviewed a movie he had. I think it was on Amazon. It was a Tom Clancy film. He's done the sports movie. He's done the serious movie. I mean, he can pretty much do whatever, and it's believable. This whole Creed series, it didn't seem like he was acting a boxer. He seemed like he was a boxer. He got bigger. So I mean, I'm Michael B. That's definitely my guy. If he's in a film, I'm gonna do my best to see it. Same thing with Jonathan Majors as well. And we reviewed a couple of his films too. We will wind back to The Harder They Fall. A great character in that film. He got into the Marvel cinematic universe. So I mean, like, he is pretty much set. Hopefully, this case goes in his favor and he can get back to, doing what he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, he can make Tyler Perry moves for the rest of his life.
Yeah, please. You might as well just quit then, bro.
A-Trap, Michael B. Jordan, your thoughts on that?
I think in regards to acting, I would give him on a Samuel Jackson level. I don't think Denzel Washington. Jonathan Majors will be more of a Denzel Washington. Even John David Washington will be more Denzel. I think Mike is a superstar. So when you're a superstar, I don't believe your acting has to be Denzel level.
Love it.
I think
very good perspective.
The ladies like him. He seems to be an engaging dude through the screen, but I don't think he is that Denzel, that Ed Norton, that Robert De Niro level. I don't think he's there. But I do enjoy the films that I see him in. But I just don't think he's a list.
I think that's a good comp. And guess what? It's not even a shade throw-in or anything, because Samuel L. Jackson, shit, that's
I'm laughing at Rello, man.
I'm loving Rello comments, man. Rello,
that's Rello, man. Flat out.
Shots fired.
I hate his acting. Mayhem, what's your thoughts on Michael B?
I think it's good exposure for him.
Leave it so every time.
I love a little something up there for you.
Yeah, I got something on your water bill this week. But
go and get that toilet fixed on me, all right?
Yeah, I think for Michael B. Jordan, I think he's stepping into those roles that are dropping in his lap, and he's taking those and hitting the ground running. I think Denzel, I think he maybe eventually up that ladder. I wouldn't say he's there now, but that doesn't mean he can't get there, So it definitely he's one of those guys. I love to see him when he gets the opportunity, because I feel like there's especially with him and Jonathan Majors on this movie and just on screen together. It spoke volumes to me, because it was just like, man, they actually bounce off of each other very well.
Yeah.
And, even when they were just kind of promoting the movie, they looked like they grew up together, like they had been in there together for the longest.
That's not the only thing they look like.
We're gonna let that one roll, but I think this is good. I think he's eventually gonna rise to the occasion.
Okay, and then what about so considering Jonathan Majors' personal troubles, is first of all, my little kind of funny comment to it, I'm like, well, this role doesn't help his personal issues. I hope they don't show some clips of this certain scenes in the courthouse.
When he popped his shoulder out of socket,
yeah. But in all reality, what y'all thinking? But in all reality, what y'all thinking about? The what's going on with court? I don't know if y'all been keeping up with that. Is he? Is this a fall from grace? Will he be able to recover? Mayhem.
I hope he recovers from it, because man, he was on fire there. When that clock turned the new year 2023, he was everywhere. He was in everything. It was just one of those things where I hope he gets out of this so he can continue that stride that he was in, because he was going crazy, man. They were pulling him left and right.
Yeah, interesting. Ben, what you think about Jonathan Majors and his recovery?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be back, but I think what better way to knock somebody down when they're having the best year of their entire career? Right. Bring something up like this.
Right.
So I just think the powers that be wanted to knock him down. That's the only thing I can think of. And I just hope the truth comes out. Now, Megan, I don't know, going hand with Megan Good. I don't know if that helps you or doesn't help you, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, Trap.
I guess they wanted him to come in there with somebody, and she was available.
Hey, Trap.
Well, you know what? People's attention ain't long. People's attention span not long enough to bury him. But I think it does destroy his ability to be in the MCU. See, I'm with Ben. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Anybody who knows me know I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I just look at this in its totality. Part of the thing I look at is this. My man Jonathan Majors is the first black actor in his 20s to take off since Sidney Poitier. And now all of a sudden he got this controversy. And what it does is knock him down to John Davis level. It really categorizes him in a Samuel Jackson kind of light. Instead of he was going to be the next Sidney Poitier, he could potentially be the next Denzel Washington. And the dude got the chops. Think about it, man. We've seen this dude be tick. Well, y'all didn't see Lovecraft Country. He was tick in Lovecraft Country, a semi-country bumpkin.
And finish.
Then you see him in the Five Boroughs with Spike Lee, and he was with that Get Down. Right. And then he was in The Harder They Fall. He y'all spoke about range earlier. He showed magnificent range. I think the ladies think he's a nice looking dude. He you know. Now he playing an LA dude he was playing an LA hood dude this time. The dude can do, he's good at what he's doing. And I do believe the people at the top said, whoa, Kimo Sabe. And because he was starting to become the most popular man in the world. And in this era, when you become wildly popular, it's hard to knock you down. Besides, if they get that cancel culture, and then he becomes black famous.
Yeah, gotcha. His gift in the building. She says, "Good evening, good evening, ma'am." And who is his?
My dog.
CJ said, "I feel like Michael B. Jordan did the best job boxer than most recent actors nowadays. Like some of the movements he was making, you can tell he's possibly maybe sparred a lot too." Trained versus just hitting mitts and punching bags. Okay, yeah. The boxing, I would never thought to myself that it was unrealistic in the boxing situation. So I thought they did a good deal with that. They've definitely come a long way from the Rocky franchise in terms of some of the, pulling off, whether it's fake, whether it's not, some of those punches where Apollo's head was going back before his glove even got there.
Let me address Rollo. No, I didn't mean he was in his 20s now, Rollo. I was saying when his career, he was the first guy on the ascend in his 20s. I think he's only like 32, 33 years old. So when last time we seen somebody in their 30s, late 20s, early 30s, black, be this big a star? That's what I meant, Rollo. Now stand down. You're still a youngin', man. Just when your 40s now don't mean you ain't no youngin' no more, Jack.
Yeah, CJ said, "I'm still a big fan of Lakeith, though. He's definitely starting to grow on me." Man. You haven't seen
that dude, man.
Yeah. And that other guy
his intelligence level, man. To play some of the roles that Lakeith has played, man, he's got to be, from an intelligence standpoint, man.
Yeah.
Lakeith, dope.
Yeah. Keisha says Mike almost fell off after. Lori Harvey, loose coochie, having it. Wow.
She said loose roast beef.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about soundtrack, man. Dr. Dre on the soundtrack a little early.
I said, you in LA, you better.
Yeah. So what y'all think about?
You can't be in LA no Dre.
Did that stand out to y'all during you watching it, or did y'all not think about the soundtrack?
Sorry, go ahead. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say at times it did, but I was so in, because I still need to finish the second one. But just watching this and just watching how it was directed, I was more, I guess, caught up in, how the acting and starring in your own movie that's your production. Now, not a doubt in my mind with the music, because I was like, well, you're in LA, you're gonna drop some tracks, I'm sure. I mean, I was even expecting maybe some oldies. I didn't even hear any. I don't know if there were some oldies in there, which I thought.
I don't remember hearing it.
They
got some Nipsey Hussle in there for sure.
Yes.
YG, J. Cole, Dreamville was a big player. I mentioned Kalani earlier. She's on there. Big Sean and ESTG also.
Things ain't the same for gangsters.
I thought it was well. I thought it was when I did hear it at those times, I was like, oh, okay, track pretty straight. But I was
and I'll be honest, I don't really remember, because I seen this in the theaters. I don't really remember hearing the songs per se. I just remember the instrumental, leading up to the fight and different segments. So I can't say I fully remember the actual song.
Yeah,
but this is the one movie I did hear the soundtrack because it was all hip hop. So usually I'm the cat going, yeah.
Yeah, that was
this
all right.
one,
yeah.
It was all hip hop. I'm like, yep, good play.
Yeah. All right, let's start with
H
Rap.
Went to jail, he played things that ain't the same for gangsters.
Yeah. Let's go to H Rap to start this one. Let's talk about the hearing impaired angle. They touched on that a little bit in Creed 2, I believe. They're keeping that prominent in the movie. They even had a scene where the lights flash with the doorbell rings. So they're not only doing it in an in-your-face manner, they're doing it in some very subtle ways to say we're giving that nod to the hearing impaired community and whatnot. What did you think about that, H-Rap?
I thought it was a wonderful situation and a great continuation of the story, because remember when she was pregnant in I think it was part 2 she was pregnant in, and they said this child may be coming out hearing impaired, and it was an excellent piece to keep it going, and it shows how he has learned, basically when you're a good father, you must adapt to your children, not have your children adapt to you. I like the fact that the new fashionable term is girl dad. I like the way he was really involved and had his daughter there every step of the way. It's a dream come true in regards to being a father. We see it every Saturday with Ben. It really, I watch Ben's show every Saturday on my phone. I'm chilling with the guys and I'm watching Ben. They like, what's they watching? Hey man, just keep smoking that cigar.
How you business,
it's just, I think, as a community, as a culture, we consistently show we in subtle ways we sneak in that we are this into our films, and I really enjoyed that.
Even a little subtle way where when him and his wife were in that fight, and the little girl came in there, and obviously she couldn't hear them fussing and fighting, but she could see they were animated and likely fighting. And so when the mama carried her off and the little girl is hugging her, but she's facing her dad as they're walking away, and he signs to her something. I don't know what he did, but she signed back. So that even talks about his quality as a father and, and his relationship with his daughter. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love that aspect of it. To A-Trap's point, it continues the story. But also I love how even when the family is going through something or when they're arguing, they're showing still that there's still that love, still that black love, still him being a father, not allowing that to be like, okay, now I'm gonna just leave because I don't know how to, express myself. I don't know how to be this family guy. So I love that part of it too, because I think a lot of times that part of it is not shown. It's more so of let's show the argument, but let's not show the aspect of how we deal with it. Because we as fathers, we go through this stuff all the time. So I love it.
Right. Mayhem, any thoughts on the hearing impaired issue here with this video?
I actually have a cousin that is deaf, hearing impaired, but I enjoyed that.
Deaf with the records. Deaf on the mic.
It was different, so I was good. I was good with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice aspect because you see it in so many different forms in other movies. So, and to introduce this into Creed and that franchise, I thought it was pretty good. Now I'm interested to see how they work with that, because when they're leading up to her getting in the ring, I'm sure. I'm constantly thinking what signals or what signs, or is she going to be reading movements? I'm just curious how they work all that in. But I enjoyed it. Thought it was a good aspect.
Okay, cool. And before we go to another segment, we're going to discuss Beauty of the Week here in just a moment. Let me ask you this. So there's a point in movies that either I'm in, or you're like, okay. So I want you to talk about it from a couple of different angles. When we're doing this for the podcast, we got to stay in regardless, right? But think about when you're watching a movie on your own and there's this moment in the movie that's like either I'm in, or okay, I'm going to turn this, or I'm going to be doing other things while I'm doing it. So I want to know what the point was for this movie that either you said I'm in or you're like, okay, I just got to get through this for the show. And I'm going to start with it from my perspective. And the reason why I wanted to ask this question of y'all is because for me, whenever they had the gym scene and Felix and Dame were sparring and it gets heated, I heard the ding of the rocket. And I'm like, shit, I'm in this now. You know, that's when it crunk up to where it took another pace. Yeah. Up to that point, it was a slower pace. We setting this thing up, giving you some background, letting you know we hadn't forgot about the previous movies in the franchise or whatever. When that happened, it's like, okay, now we finna get into this shit. So for y'all, when did that happen? Mayhem, let's start with you. When did you either decide I'm all in or I just got to get through this shit?
I have to say when he was when I saw Jonathan Majors leaning up against the Rolls, leaning up against the Phantom, you know, I'm thinking, oh shit,
here we go.
Here we go. But yeah, I mean, it was to me great movie all around. But that scene right there, just like you already knew, he's hungry. He got something to prove. He gonna prove it any way he can prove it. So I felt like at that point, and then especially when he kept talking about, you know, I want to be the champ. And I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, here we go. So, yeah, it was that moment for me when he's outside. Because even they led up to it. He knew where he was. Found out that he had moved gyms. I mean, come on, man. You know, who does all that much hard work when you get down?
Now, did he move the gym or did he just upgrade the one that they were at? Because it came across to me. It moved.
I thought he said he moved.
They moved it.
Because he said he went over to the old gym and then he said that he
upgraded.
Yeah, because the other one was like on a corner, like in a neighborhood or something. And then they kind of moved. It looked like a strip mall type setup.
Okay. That's another thing on previous franchises, like when Rocky started getting traded by Carl Weathers people, Apollo Creed's people. Yeah. And they went to the hood rough gym and the brothers was looking. Man, I think that's one of the best scenes in cinematic history, man, telling the story of you're in a different fucking place now. Exactly. You know, I mean, I loved it. You know, this whole popcorn, you know, friendly gym your ass been at. This ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're gonna get it like we get it. Yeah. You're gonna get it like we get it. You know, they're gonna smell good in here. The toilet on the left don't work. You gotta jiggle the handle. You know, we use bar soap, motherfucker. You ain't got no pump soap in here. Yeah. You wash your hands. It look like mechanics work here. You know, I mean,
Some of these cats are mechanics.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Right. Okay. Ben, for you, when did it hit? Okay, I'm in. This is good, or I just gotta watch this for the show.
Yeah. So when he fought his Michael B. Jordan's guy, I guess the guy that was on under his roster, when he fought him and he handled that dude, I was like, okay, this really about to get real. I mean, you kind of know where the film's going, but in that moment when he handled him firmly and it was like no question, that's when I was like, okay, I'm all in.
Okay, A-Trap, you sir.
Well, my buy-in was really at the very beginning because I thought it was going to go in a different. I didn't know what direction it was going to go in. I thought the Latino mom and the young man angle was going to go in a different direction. I didn't think they were going to be on his team, so I bought in when I saw how controlling the mother was because I'm like, oh, she's going to be a problem. So I'm thinking, how are they going to get her mixed in? Because the previews you saw, Jonathan Majors was going to have an adversarial role in this. So I'm like, how they going to work this in? So I bought in almost immediately. And then, you know, it got predictable, but it's a Rocky movie. You know, it ain't like I was expecting.
Yeah, I think
they was going to be doing some Fast and Furious stuff. You know, I didn't think they was going to be biker boys or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's a Rocky movie. And they got the fight, he's got the win.
And I think that's what makes it predictable. It's that underdog story that keeps going from Rocky to Rocky.
We know what the story is, but we just want to see the details. Really,
and I have to say real quick on the first Creed, I like the fact that he lost at the end. I loved it.
Isn't it a right out of the Rocky playbook though? Because remember, Rocky won, he lost.
Rocky lost.
You know, so that right there. That is actually going against the grain from a movie standpoint. Nobody would have predicted that before seeing the first Rocky that he's going to lose. Everybody was like, of course, the underdog is going to win and, you know, whatever. But there is a victory in taking him the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like he was so proud of that, you know, like, you know, they want to interview him. Hey man, you took him to the distance. I just want to get to my girl, you know, whatever. So I you know, I think that was again, classic Rocky, you know, that he loses in the first.
You know what? I want to do what Faison Love did about 3 years ago. I want to give Sylvester Stallone some props. He's one of the few non-black directors that have never put a black person in a bad light in any of his movies across the board. Shout out to Faison Love for identifying that, and I want to share it too.
Absolutely.
Unless you want to call Clubber Lang.
But Clubber Lang was a super proud black dude.
And that was Mr. T, though.
Come on over here. Come on over here, you pretty little self. Let me show you what it's like to be with a real man.
Mr. T was wild outside of that movie anyway. So
I predict pain.
Oh, hey, and one day you have got to go do some digging on Mr. T and how he got from point A to point B. Started as a bouncer in a club, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, his story is just fascinating.
Where's my
Dingbats? He was at Dingbats.
Yeah. So the lady who played the Felix Chavez's mom in the role, she played on Orange Is the New Black. And remember that movie we reviewed where the banker peed on herself? That was the banker who peed on herself. In that movie where the guy took, I think it was called Breaking or something like that, where the military veteran guy. So again, I think that was she's no slouch actress when I'm talking he got the Clubber Lang. Good moves. Yeah, that's a good point, man. About
classic right there.
That's a good point about Sylvester Stallone, man. That's overlooked a little bit. I think we need to be giving him some props on that.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay. And now it is time for
Beauty of the Week.
by yours truly. So there's obviously an obvious choice here for Beauty of the Week for most folks who would watch this film. You know, I don't do the obvious. So Tessa Thompson, she's a looker, but I decided during Westworld with some of the outfits that they had her in and stuff like that, wasn't really flattering to me. And she's not, hey, trust me, I love them when they as yellow as 10 pounds of country butter. I also like them when they got that Nestle's Toll House chocolate chip look on them too. So hey, I'm an equal opportunity employee. You feel me? I'll leave either one of them something on the dresser. So this ain't no shade to the red bones or yellow bones or whatever you want to call them. But Tessa Thompson, nah, not for me. Another semi-obvious choice, especially for folks in age rap in my age group, Felicia Rashad. Ain't never been nothing to sneeze at. So I think I cried harder than when my mom and daddy got divorced when her and my Rashad split up. These my people.
I knew I had a shot.
Couldn't believe it.
Huh?
When they split up, I knew I had a shot.
But my Beauty of the Week, the one and only, Kalani.
I can see that.
She made a very short appearance in just the little nightclub scene. This was one of the singers that was Tessa Thompson's character, because of her hearing impaired issue. She started having some problems recording her own music. So she started gathering artists. And I thought, hey, they should have played this a little bit more where Jonathan Majors is egging him on or egging her on about the music situation. Like, how I feel, you miss being up there, don't like that was really his Clubber Lang moment. When he's really kind of messing with her about that kind of stuff. And I thought for one moment he may make a play for her.
That's what I thought.
They were kind of alluding to that, which I thought would add to fuel to the fire or whatnot. But I thought that was an interesting dynamic. They picked Kalani for the singer again. If you're not familiar with Kalani, I'm gonna give you 3 recommendations in terms of songs: "Can I," "Morning," and "Open." And when I say, if you got that playlist, and when I mean that playlist, Blue Streak Freak, I'm talking to you. That playlist, you gotta have Kalani on it. If you ain't got 2 or 3 Kalani songs on your Boom Boom in the Bedroom playlist, you missing it. So she's, looks like Kalani's got a little mixed vibes. Maybe I didn't look this particular piece of it, but maybe mixed with a little Latina and sister or something, or the Cubana,
got the Lauryn Hill
or Puerto Rican, or Boricua, something. Yeah, she's got, and I'm loving the tats, and I know Mayhem is loving the tats.
Oh yes.
You hear me? And she got a little. She got a little. Holly Berry had a baby with a Mexican dude vibe. Here, don't she?
Holly Berry.
Yeah, I love the artwork.
Yeah, like Kalani. Yeah, she. Yeah, that's gonna be. She gonna get my beauty of the week vote this.
Rightfully
week.
So. Rightfully so.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kalani. Holla at your boy. Let's see what our viewers had to say about our beauty of the week selection, if anything.
Hit that last question for Rello.
Yeah, okay. He said
He starts with what y'all think.
Yeah. He says even Holly Berry got cheated on. True.
Hell yeah. Just recently. What's the
let me just make sure we don't have any more.
Oh gosh, I forgot her name.
Lady, for some reason, he's hollering about Beyonce. I can't remember what he's. I don't know what he's saying.
Cheated on.
She got cheated
on.
Oh,
get cheated on. Okay, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Becky with the good hair.
They say as long as you're as faithful as your options, right? Ain't that what they say? Okay, and then Rello had a question. What y'all think about the fact that Sylvester got cut out creatively from the movie? He's okay. I didn't know that he quote unquote got cut out.
Yeah.
From a creativity standpoint, I would have to ask who did the cutting out.
Mike cut him out.
Michael B. Jordan.
I thought it was it the Rocky character or just Sylvester Stallone? I don't know. I've heard
he did away with the Rocky character because he was the director. He was like, look, we don't want to keep that portion in this. Yeah. He want to keep it Wood, Harris, and him.
Yeah.
And other boxes. Okay. And Rocky really has no place in this.
And I think that's right, because I think Creed has, for the longest, it was always Rocky, a little Creed, a little background, Rocky. I think now, and I think, did Michael B. Jordan buy the rights to this? I don't know. To Creed?
I think he may have.
But to have his own world now, to give that extension of the legend and go forward with it, I like the fact that Rocky was not in this. I think Creed needed to stand on its own without Sylvester Stallone blessing.
Yeah, I think that's the play for sure. But I just hope, what you don't want to happen. And I would, if I had to guess, I would say it probably wasn't done in this way, but I don't want it done in a disrespectful way.
Oh, yeah, right.
We're going to move on from that piece.
And if we go back to Creed 2, he passed away in Creed 2. Rocky did. So that wasn't I
don't remember that either, H-Rat.
I remember that, Ben.
Didn't he pass away? Because he was sick.
At the end of Creed 2, he went to see his son and his grandson.
Yeah, he was just really sick. But it kind of ended
I
there.
thought he passed away because they were like crying.
His VD flared up, and that was it.
But I think it's the right move, because this is the Creed storyline. We know Rocky. We know he had a part in it. I don't think you need to continue to put him in the film. We already know the backstory, and if you don't know, you can just watch the early Rocky film.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think it was the thing to do. I just pray, and I'm pretty sure they did it the right way, because and that's to H-Rap's point. If H-Rap hadn't said what he said about Sylvester Stallone and Faison Love giving him the love, I may not be as adamant about this, but knowing that, I hope they did it respectfully to Sylvester.
As Rello stated, Stallone did make a big deal about it. He didn't like it at all. But he was one of the producers of the film, so which you still getting a check.
Yeah,
right.
Because there was an interview that he had.
But I don't. Yeah, I saw. I don't think he was upset to the point screw y'all. I think he was just kind of like taken back. Like, oh
yeah.
wow.
I don't know, because he was talking. He said he was talking about someone that took him. He didn't say the person's name, but he was in the interview. He was talking about how he wasn't involved anymore, and he didn't like it. Now I don't know if he was necessarily talking about Michael B. Jordan or what, but I think to be an actor and to be how long you've been in the game, I think he's got to understand, which is maybe why he was on as a producer instead of actually being in it.
And he won't answer it. He won't answer the question directly, because I had seen another interview. He was just kind of like, well, they just decided to go a different direction, and left it at that. But we know he was pissed. You could tell he was upset about it, but he wasn't going to answer the question directly.
So Rello says, he made a big deal about it. He also said here they cut him out, and he had a problem with that. And he is also saying that it was the studio behind it, which you can always hide behind the studio, right? But I think it's a good move. And I think, so one of the important things is that as you're watching this, it'll say based on characters from, Rocky or whatever, right? Right. And they give him some love there too. Let's see, something else I was going to say about that deal with Rocky. So to A-Trap's point, right? He talking about not showing brothers in a bad light. Think about how many people in this situation wouldn't have even given a brother a role. He's had brothers in the adversarial role since the beginning. Yeah. Dolph Lundgren was the first non, black adversary, right?
Yeah.
And then he went to Tommy Machine Gun Morrison, but then to pull in Creed. Think about this. He could have went, my son gonna be a boxer. He could have went that way and brought the story. So as far as I'm concerned, he's pulled in, folks from our community often enough.
Yeah. In Creed, didn't they bring in Balboa? Who was that he was boxing?
I think his name was
Antonio Tarver.
There you go. Right.
Oh, and did y'all see? Wasn't Adrian Bonner in this as one of the sparring partners?
Sparring partner.
I think I saw him in there. Because I'm a boxing fan. I hate boxing is where it is nowadays. I'm a glory days of boxing guy, and I still love it. It's my time. I'm a pugilist fan.
But you know what? With this new fight with Bud and my man from Dallas,
Earl Spence.
This may help.
Let me clarify that a bit. So I still think some of the lower weight classes still have it, but what got boxing, and this is really hard to say, but what got boxing to its prominence is the heavyweight. I mean,
and the heavyweights playing defensive end.
All due respect to Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler and them boys, Roberto Duran, and all them boys, but it's the heavyweights what got them, and that's the division that's down. All right, let's get some thoughts from Mr. Butler, the intellect here from Perspective podcast. He goes, first, it seemed like that was indicated in Creed 2 at the end. Also, Creed had a life before and after Rocky, so I respect the nod to Creed now, separate of Rocky. This allows Creed's side to be shared and explored. The Rocky character can always be worked back in. It's Creed's side playing out. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, so the situation I want to really focus on. Being A-Trap too, but being in Mayhem has younger kids right now, so I want to focus on their answer to this. But obviously, A-Trap, you be prepared, and I'm going to start with Ben on this. This is one of the reasons why I told Ben, "Hey Ben, let me try this one," just because I had some unique perspectives that I wanted to get out there. So the situation with Amara fighting in school, these are real parenting issues, right? So Ben, did he handle it right? He wanted, so just for those of you who don't know, he's like wanting to make sure she knows how to defend herself. So he's teaching her boxing and stuff like that. And the mama is like, you can't answer everything with violence. We've all been there as dads, right? Ben, how would you handle? Give me your thoughts on that part of the film and how you handle it with Ari in those terms, because it's got to come out.
I love that part because your kid is going to be tested. Since the beginning of time, there's bullies. And the way that you stop a bully is you have to confront that bully.
Yeah.
You can't cower down. You really got to confront the bully. So I like the way he handled it. He's a boxer. Like, he's not gonna say you got to talk things out. He's gonna say he's obviously been showing her stuff probably since she was a baby. She had
watching
boxing gloves probably in the crib. So I mean, like, to me, that it was not like unpredictable that was his approach. Now with Ari, and we've had to have conversations like, hey, if they push you to a point and you feel like you need to defend yourself, then you can do that, and we got your back if it comes down to that. Now, don't let that be your first thing, because you black.
Yeah. and they'll throw your black ass in jail.
Right. So it's different. The rules is different for you. But if you're in a situation where you need to defend yourself, then 100%, we can have your back. We can show you what you need to do. So yeah, that's my take.
Man, what do you think about that in the movie and the way they handle it? How does that differ from the Mayhem household?
I loved how they handled it in the movie, but a part of me was like, yeah, that's how you supposed to fucking handle that shit. If they started, your ass better end it. And if you ain't,
you better not come back home.
Yeah,
you better not come back home until you end that shit.
I'm gonna try to eat some more meat off this bone before I give it the H-Rap. But yeah, that was the first thought I had when I wrote it down. What your mama used to say: if they hit you, you better pick up something and knock their ass out. You know, or the classic. You know, if somebody hit you, you hit them right back. You know, that's what it's been for the majority of black households. It's eye for an eye, motherfucker. It ain't.
I was like, now don't put your hand down.
They'll say don't start nothing.
Don't start nothing.
You better finish it.
You better finish it.
Yeah, those are classic black mama things. And it seems like, to be perfectly honest, man, it seems like we get that advice from our mamas more than we did our daddies in terms of what to do.
Right. Mama don't want her babies all messed up.
Yeah. A-Trap, what are your thoughts on it being in the movie, and then how did you handle it with BJ and whatnot?
I mean, it is what it is, man. You know, you teach your children to defend themselves, like y'all said. You don't start none, but you definitely finish. You know,
don't start no shit. Won't be no shit.
That took me right to my daughter, because my children are a direct reflection of me.
Oh yeah, and A-Trap will put some beat your ass on you. So yeah.
I mean, but like,
open up a can. Yeah.
Like, but
Pastor Todd ain't here. You can tell the truth today, Pastor Todd.
Nah, I was thinking about this one time. These little girls jumped up in BJ face, and Bria beat these two little girls. They were twins, and Bria beat them up, and I was pulling up and she was just walking home, going, I'm like, what's wrong? And BJ walking behind her laughing. And he said, she just beat up the twins because they was picking on me. And I was like, she just walked in the house. She ain't talked for like an hour. I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, nothing. I was like, hey.
She was still in that zone that you got to get. They call that
your daughter. Yeah,
see,
your daughter's younger than BJ.
Beast mode.
Yeah, she's 4 years younger than BJ. And BJ is a Williams. He's antagonistic. Well, at this time, he was antagonistic. And Bria didn't understand that he was antagonizing these two little girls. So when they attacked, she attacked. And I remember, I'll never forget that. I'm pulling up at the crib, and she was calming down from being the Hulk. And BJ is walking behind her like the Cosby kids laughing. Yeah.
People don't understand. And the Hulk is a good analogy. Beast mode is often silent. You know, I'd rather somebody talking shit, because when they quiet, it's like a dog. You know, ain't a dog barking dog ain't fucking with me. I'm not worried about no barking dog. You know, you trying to show your teeth, man, trying to intimidate. I'm not with it. You know, but when that dog ain't saying nothing and looking and watching, that's when you need to be worried.
Absolutely. What is that saying? I'm not afraid of the the lion that leads the sheep. I'm afraid of the sheep that lead the lions.
Wow.
Wow. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah. Always.
Keisha says, in this household, I told my babies to whip ass, nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, yes.
So that's where the film had a little backwards in terms of what your black mama's typically gonna do. They're not gonna be like, the violence ain't the answer. I ain't heard no
Hey,
black mama say that very often.
She ain't dark though. She light skinned.
And that's why them light skinned dudes soft.
Yeah, I never noticed that, but my uncles never told me to fight, but my grandmothers was like,
"Ain't talking about shit.
You better do what you do."
Yeah.
I definitely heard whoop their ass and whoop your ass.
Right.
And then I got something specifically. Now I'm gonna give y'all just some individual things for y'all only. I don't want anybody else to comment on this. We just gonna give it to you. The first one. Now I'm gonna say this is for last for A-Trap because it's too juicy. I'm gonna give this first one to Mayhem and see if you notice this. You got Creed in white trunks, and most of his stuff was white and and shadow and stuff. And then Dame stuff was black trunks, black. Did you pick up on that? You think it was intentional? Did it do what it needed to do?
I feel like it was intentional. I feel like it was one of those. The darkness against the light. I'm trying to think straight, level-headed. I'm not there anymore. But Dame is more of like, I'm out to prove something. I'm cloaked in this. This is where I do some of my best work. It's like, I don't need to be lighthearted. I don't need to be light about the situation. So I think it was on purpose.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, they should have did the Mike Tyson thing where they cut Dame a little hole in the top. Just straight back. Look, when that used to happen, man. Woo! When I first saw him do that, I'm like, this nigga serious. He don't even want no satin robe. He don't want nothing soft.
Mike was about that business, man. That was it.
The shirt.
And so even what I like is that y'all another carryover is that he's carrying on his dad's stars and stripes stuff, right? Like you see that even in his white stuff, it was white, but it still had the little shadow of the stars and stripes stuff. Okay. All right, cool. Now for Ben, what in this film, and I'm gonna give you the answer that I had, Dan. What in this film did you see that you said to yourself, classic Rocky?
That's a good question. Obviously the him training with the music in the background, him doing the running, he was old and he basically sucked at that point, and he had to get, that was Rocky mode. That was Rocky 101. Show his comeback.
For me, it was the somebody died. So when his mama died, I'm like, classic Rocky. Classic Rocky. Somebody died. I got to use this as a little motivation. He needed a reason to get back in the ring, all this other stuff,
Yeah, funny. I tell Ari, I tell Ari all the time, especially in a Disney movie, somebody gonna die. All right. She's like, I don't believe you. I told you. Somebody died. Somebody gonna die in this movie. And somebody dies in most movies because you gotta have that death and resurrection.
Disney does that on purpose to just get straight to the point. Like, hey,
let's not talk about it. Like, you really, man. Let's not go on the Disney thing. Let's not, man. Because just last night I got some more creepy stuff. But let's just leave Disney ass alone right quick.
That might have to be a separate show.
Right.
Surviving Disney.
Right.
Run that back.
Then, like I said, I wanted to save the best for last for A-Trap. Screaming A. Smith.
Cooling A. Smith.
What did you think that he was? When I saw this, I'm like, I cannot wait to see what A-Trap about Stephen A. Smith. What you think?
He was cooling A. Stephen A. Man. He was Stephen A. Man. He did what he do, man. This lets me know that this dude. Never mind, man. He played a great role in this movie. He played himself.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Go ahead.
Honestly, he looked like he was out of his damn element.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a script instead of the script they give him every day. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the side note, real quick. Quick. For those people saying, "Is Stephen A. gonna be next?" They ain't ever gonna fire that. They ain't ever gonna fire that nigga. The amount of jobs he has,
right?
To A-Trap, A-Trap said this numerous times. That dude on TV right now at the home. I'm exaggerating, but he doing the home run derby right now. He could do UFC. He could do golf. Like the dude do everything. Ain't no way he could be the next one. They gonna pay him the most. He had the most jobs.
If anything, in regards to Stephen A. with that firing thing, man, I think he may want to get fired because he realizes the money that's outside of that. He's finally come to the realization that I'm underpaid. See, it was cool when everybody. I remember when he first got that raise, and he was making $9 million. Now he makes like 11. And everybody was like, he making top dollar. I was like, no, he ain't. He's just getting compensated. This dude on the NFL broadcast. He's hosting ESPN Sports Center. He's on First Take. He's doing basketball and on the radio. That's $10 million worth of work.
Yeah.
He's just being compensated.
And he's in movies here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Cameos. Like what?
And they fired Jalen Rose. They fired they didn't fire Perk. But they fired a bunch of us in order to
little sister in the building, the educator queen. She goes sick of Doc with all these deep ass questions.
We'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple of little quick hitters before we give our final thoughts and wrap this episode up. So as you know, Jonathan Majors' character Damian Anderson. I don't think we gave his nickname either. That's another thing these Rocky franchises do, give a nickname to a boxer. But that's boxing, though, isn't it?
Right.
You know, what was some of Creed? You know, the Monty
Master Disaster, the King of Sting.
The Monte Fisto is what they call him. That
Monte
one was
Fisto.
dope. There's a play on Monte Cristo, the Count of Monte Fisto. I love that one. But you know, so they stuck with some of their bad guy names. So this one, the bad guy is Damian Anderson. So he became champ. So here's another deep question for you. We're gonna start with Ben. Does it matter how you become champ, or that you become champ?
It don't matter as long as they don't. There's no disqualification or nothing. Now you can clearly see. I ain't never seen nobody pop somebody's elbow, pop somebody's shoulder out. I ain't never seen that move ever before in boxing. Period.
Is that a legal punch to hit you in the shoulder right there?
Yeah. But
if that's the case, why don't we see it more often?
That's what I was wondering.
Awful strong to pull that one off.
But I got a feeling wherever they researched that from, somebody's got video on that.
That's right.
They had to have seen that from somewhere. Good point.
Yeah.
That's probably from the 20s. You ain't just regular strong doing that. You got to be fresh out the joint to pull that one off.
Right.
Blue Streak Freak said that's a great sandwich. Talking about the Monte Cristo. She is 100% right, especially here at Cheddar's, their Monte Cristo.
Yeah, that's the only spot.
Okay. So Ben says it doesn't matter. A-Trap, you say it don't matter how you become champ. You know, even though he was borderline on the cheating and. You know,
I don't think that was cheating at all. I mean,
with the elbow, right? The elbow is definitely
the elbow is cheating. But hey, man, if you watch some of them Mike Tyson's fights slow motion, Mike Tyson was popping people with the elbow.
But bottom line is, the dude that he was fighting was a professional. He should have been ready.
Yeah,
he wasn't ready. I think he went into that fight like, I'm the champ. I ain't got to do nothing.
He's just a spar.
Yeah. You're not on my level. So I'm just gonna come into this and
I want y'all to consider also not only what you see in the actual fight night ring, but even in the training gym and all that other kind of stuff. What he did to get to where he was. You know, does it matter how you become champion? Wilkes, your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not.
Oh, wow, this is I'm glad to a certain extent, but some people are more concerned with how you get to the top. So that's interesting.
I'm stepping over.
I got what's her name? I can't think of her name. Who had that girl piped?
Oh, Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh yeah,
Nancy Kerrigan, man. I mean, she went out there.
Hey, you got pipes in the movie, so I mean, bing! Now that part right there, they talk about that one. I felt like Damian had that set up. Was that just random that just happened when they hit what's his name in the hand?
Oh no, that
in
was
the
set
hand.
up. Remember?
That's what that was set up.
Yeah, that was set up. Yeah,
Felicia Rashad showed him the picture. Well, old boy was his homie.
That's right.
He played him, and and that's the question we should have visited. When do you let go your past in regards to your friends?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People it's like you going down a road. You shouldn't be going down. People telling you don't go down that road, but you keep going down it.
Once again, like that movie we watched, don't get in the car. He got in the car.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, this brings us to our mic rating. We will rate on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the best. We'll take those scores, average them, and that's what our published forecast rating will be. Again, mic ratings. Let's start with Ben on this one. I don't think he done ever went first.
I don't think I ever went first.
Let's
so we want to do
first.
what we were gonna give it, and
that's right. That's right. Well, we were gonna give it before we all talked and chopped it up about it. And did that change our rating any? And what do you give it?
Yeah, I was gonna give it a 5. And I'm from the time after I watched it, I was like, man, this was dope. So I'm gonna scale it back a little bit. I'm gonna scale it back to a 4.5.
Okay, all right.
Because I still felt like it was.
5s are lofty. I mean, to get a 5 from the forecast, you got to be bringing it. You know? Okay.
But I felt like it was well done though.
Okay. A-Trap. Mic rating, sir.
I give it like a 3.2. It was an average, like 2.5 is average, 3 is above average, and it was a little above average.
So we can start with we can stay within our, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5.
Oh, okay. I'll give it
3.5. 3.5 or 3. Okay. So
I'll give it 3.5.
And where were you? Were you at that before our discussion?
I was at that there the whole get down. Yep, I was there the whole get down.
Okay, cool. Okay. Mayhem, what you got, sir?
I actually was gonna. Well, I still am. I was gonna give it a 3.5 mics. That's where even when I went into it, I was still nervous about the whole franchise anyway. Because when I saw the first Creed, I was like, oh man. Then they did a second one. I was like, well, I gotta watch it because maybe it wasn't too bad. Then they did a third one, and I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah. But I give it a 3.5 mics, and that's only because of that deep-rooted nostalgia of the Rocky franchise. It's still there, whether he's there physically or not. It's still steeped in that.
Okay. Believe it or not, I'm where I was before, and I'm where I am after. I was going to give it a 3.5 myself, and I didn't change any of that. There were some things, and again, I don't want people to think the 3.5 is a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. For me, that is above average. And things such as the imagery during the fight when there's no one in the ring but those two fighters. You notice how they went from like round 3 all the way to round 11, but they're round 3 to 11. So I like the fact that they didn't feel the need to put a whole bunch of unnecessary content in in those rounds. You know what I'm saying? And that's really kind of like boxing, isn't it? You kind of get lost in the shuffle of some of those middle rounds, where you don't even remember what happened in them. So I think that was good that they kind of cut that out and came back with the most important rounds. So I thought from an imagery standpoint, and plus it's probably something really close to what fighters feel, right? That they don't hear the fucking crowd. They don't really hear the crowd. I hear and they may not even hear their corner people while they're fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because they yelling at them all the time. Stick it, move, get out that corner. I don't even know if they hear all that.
Rocky, get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, they in a zone where it's like they did. It's just me and him.
Yeah.
That middle round sequence was excellent. That might be the best middle round sequence I've ever seen in a boxing movie.
Because of that alone, I was thinking about moving to a 4 because of that alone, really. Because I thought that was some really good imagery and the deaf stuff. Matter of fact, you know what? I think I am because of the hearing impaired play and that piece of imagery. I think I am going to change mine from a 3.5 to a 4.
So that make it a 4 overall then.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's gonna put us right there. I think
15.5 divided by 4. Yeah, 3.87. So we'll call it a 4, from a overall rating standpoint. But I think another little piece too is the mental health piece that they threw in toward the end, where Michael B. Jordan's character and Jonathan Majors' character are sitting there talking about, hey, that ain't on you, it never was, all that other kind of stuff. So that was some like healing moments for them, and even the little things between Michael B. Jordan and his wife throughout the thing, where she was talking about, you got to talk, and if it's not to me, you got to talk to somebody, and all this other stuff. So I like the little play on that as well. And then go ahead.
You know what I really appreciate, like what you just mentioned. I just watched the Bel Air series for the first time in my life.
Love it, man.
I just spent the last 2 weeks, and I binge watched the whole series. And one of my favorite parts about the Bel Air series is the fact of Uncle Phil and Viv. They had some cantankerous moments, but they didn't have. They were disagreeing, but they weren't being disagreeable. They were talking to, not at each other. And just like with this Michael and his, Adonis and his wife, they were talking to each other, letting people know that we can have the worst situation possible, but we can have communication and get through it. And they, usually they got sisters on that chicken necking and brothers punching walls and acting a fool. But they were adults about it, and I really appreciate both series. The series of Bel Air, Uncle Phil and Viv, and Adonis and his wife communicating versus yelling, screaming, cussing, and MFing each other.
Yeah, shout out to Bel Air, man. The new Bel Air on Peacock. If you're not watching that,
super dope.
The fashion in it, the character reimagining from the series, it's not what you think. I promise you. You need to get on it. All right, tomorrow on the End of the Bench forecast, what we got, A-Trap?
I forgot to pull it up 1 second. I'm gonna talk about I know one of the things I'm gonna talk about is the galvanizing of the community. We just saw a judge shoot down the case of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like they don't get nothing. You know what I mean? You got 2 people who lived 100+ years. They're centenarians or whatever it's called. And this, along with the last 3 weeks in court with the Supreme Court, and this, I really don't have a true issue with the Supreme Court shooting down affirmative action in regards to academia. I think it's a boost, but I do think this is a clarion call to our community. A lot of people hear what I say. They listen. They hear what I say. They don't listen to what I say, so they think I'm anti a particular culture. I'm anti BS and nonsense, and I'm gonna talk about that. And another thing is, at some point we got to stop gathering for parties exclusively. The Essence Fest happened last week, and it was just a party. It's been a party. When you have these issues, the debunking of the inability to teach our history, the inability to excel and be in the quote unquote the best institutions of higher learning, at some point we are going to have to say, yeah, we can go to Essence Fest and we can enjoy Jill Scott and we can enjoy Erykah Badu, but they do need to have a voter registration piece there. They need to have a civics piece there. They need to have an entrepreneurial piece there, because if you're going to have all these successful people from our community in one place and they are focused, and most of those people are academics that go to those places. You have the Divine Nine, you have the Masonic Lodges and the Eastern Star Lodges. These people are prominent people in our community, and they should be talking about advancing the culture versus, oh, girl, did you see Jill Scott? So I'm going to talk about that. And another thing I'm going to talk about is at this point, we are at a crossroads. And if Doc has a chicken joint and I have a chicken joint and Ben and Wilkes have a chicken joint and we're in the community, maybe we need to come together. I need to get on the phone with you. I need to walk down to your store, and we need to walk down to Ben's store. We need to walk up to Wilkes' store and say, hey, we are selling chicken. It's more than enough chicken to be sold in this community because this community loves what we make. what we're going to do is going forward, we're going to go to the chicken people and we're going to buy chicken for all of us cheaper.
Wow, love it, man.
You know, and I'm going to talk about the galvanizing of industry in our community versus, hey, we're not going to put each other out of business. You're on corner X, you're on corner Y, you're corner A and corner B. We're in 4 corners of the community and we're making a good living. How about we meet in the middle and say, hey, let's buy, instead of you buying 50 pounds, you buying 50 pounds, you buying 50 pounds, you buying 50 pounds for $70 a pound, let's go buy 400 pounds at one time, get the cheapest possible price, and everybody get 100 pounds. So we don't have to go back to the market for a while. And we can do that with flour. We can do that with barbecue sauce. We can do that whatever we need to be successful, instead of always, hey man, dog, his chicken ain't good as mine. It might not be, but you know what? Dog can leave something for his nephews, his nieces, his twins, so forth and so on, if we work in unison instead of working against each other.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking about that, man.
Love it, love it, love it. Appreciate that. So make sure y'all tune in to that tomorrow. Queen 3 and King, our episode is she's better, but is she bitter? She's better, but is she bitter? We got special guest host Andre Jones on. Oh no, you know what? That's the week after. Tomorrow is actually What She Got On, the Keke Palmer situation. We had to move that up. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Keke Palmer went to the Usher concert, was very scantily clad, and went up on stage and was dancing with Usher. Cheeks is out, and her boyfriend texted when she started texting, uploading some of the photos and video, that he commented on social media what she got on. The internet and the supporters of Keke Palmer and the women's liberation movement all attacked this brother, for his statement. And he came back with another statement and doubled down and says, why come a man of the household, have a take like this and want, for his wife, the mother of his kids, to be dressed a certain way, etc. So
you got to get to the link of comments when you get a second.
Yeah, that'll be fun tomorrow on Queen 3 and King. And again, we'll have special guest host Andre Jones in the building, King 2.0. So make sure y'all tune in to that.
Oh, indeed.
All right, let's see. We got Mika comment. She goes, keyword boyfriend. Bye. Yeah. Interesting.
Slow down, Beyonce.
Interesting. Keyword boyfriend. Bye. Okay, so if he ain't put a ring on it, he ain't got nothing to say. All right, y'all want to tune in, because I can tell right now that
it's about to get spicy.
Queens ain't gonna like me tomorrow. So y'all get ready. She also said before that, she talked about A-Trap's point in the Essence Festival. She says, couldn't agree more. Essence Fest was all about Black excellence, but the twerking has covered that all up. It's there, just not publicized. One of my favorite events. Okay, gotcha. All right, we are up to our final thoughts on this one, and we'll say goodbye. So let's start with Mayhem. Give us your final thoughts.
I enjoyed it. I need to go back and finish the second one. I do like that the hearing impaired aspect carried over. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I'd probably watch it again if it was, nothing reruns these days, so you have to go watch it. So yeah, I'd probably watch it again. Definitely will finish the second one. Thought it was pretty good.
All right, cool. A-Trap, final thoughts, sir.
I mean, another great movie. Like I said, it was predictable, but it was enjoyable. I like Ben mentioned this at the top of the show, the cameos by the actual athletes, and one of the things that really stuck out to me is this is a vicious, violent sport. You cannot play boxing, and what I really like what they showed is the camaraderie of the athletes, of the combatants. You know, he had just got through fighting Drago's son. Drago's son show up. You know, and that's how it is. You know, they talk about each other like a dog pre-fight, get us all engaged, and then when it's over, you know, even Spence, even in real life, Spence and Crawford have been shooting shots at each other on the internet for years, and then they have literally said after this fight we're gonna go party. I really like that because it shows no matter what goes down, we can do this dance, and then we can go dance, and I really appreciate that.
Love it. Ben, final thoughts, sir.
Yeah. You always wonder when you do a trilogy, will the third film be just as good or a little bit better? And I think they hit that mark. I don't know if I'm gonna say it was better because I think the first one I gave you that, wow, we about to breed back Creed, because I think for the Black community, Creed was, you wanted to see more of him, obviously. And then you started this whole trilogy. So, with the third one, I felt like they did a great job. Michael B. Jordan directing, and then you having him and Jonathan Majors at the top of their acting careers, and it's like you're almost watching this film like, okay, you thinking it's a real boxing match, right? And the way they did it in the presentation, I felt like it was done very well to get people to see it, even with it being a third film. So I loved it. Now, a couple other things before, not just film related, but Queen 3 and King, episode 98. They're 2 episodes away from 100. So those of you tuning in, if you want to give them a shout out on 100 episodes, you can email bs3sports@outlook.com, and we will. They'll definitely have a special show coming up in the next couple of weeks. Also, tomorrow, a new show will be debuting, Body Talk Fit, at 8:30, right after Queen 3 and King. So make sure to tune in. I'm not gonna give you a lot on what the show's about. You just gotta tune in. But Body Talk Fit, it is women. It is women being fit, and it was women,
talking with their bodies.
So you gotta tune in to that.
I love your body language. Body talk. Keep down. Jeez, that was right there. Got the intro.
And the last thing, we got another show, Let's Talk Auto Detailing, Raymond Matthews, Wednesday at 6. So we got 2 new shows starting this week. We just wanted to get that out there.
Awesome.
Let me plug this show that I'm coming out with. Me and Big Mo, we've been talking about this for 4 or 5 months. He's Tiger Park. I'm the end of the bench. We have a collaboration. We call it Park Bench. We've had several co-hosts and things of that nature that didn't work out. So we've come together and we've created Park Bench Productions, and we have a show called The Chief Seats. I'll send you guys the promo, and we are going to talk. We're going to have conversations. We will be talking about sports. We'll be talking about culture. We'll be talking about entertainment. We'll be talking about technology and how it affects us and the rest of the world. But what we have come to the conclusion that sports is not the sports that we grew up on. Young people look at sports as a means to earn, because they're betting on it, and they're playing fantasy and things of that nature. So we're going to talk about sports from a different perspective. So we're going to talk about life from the perspective of me and my man Big Mo and our homeboy Nino. Both of them are from Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. So the Chiefs. I send you guys the promo right now and let y'all see what it looks like.
All right, that'll work. Well, hey, hopefully this ride with King Dog behind the steering wheel wasn't too bumpy for our viewers, and wasn't too bumpy for Ben.
We can do it again.
But I think I was gonna say, but I wanted him to see how relaxing this shit is. But you just gotta sit there and be great,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My hands just keep moving. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we really.
Damn, he's the only one who ain't hosted yet.
Who is that?
Damn, it's the only one ain't hosted yet.
Hey, that's yeah. You don't want these kind of problems.
I'm okay.
But hey, we appreciate everybody. Appreciate my co-host, and we'll see y'all next week on the podcast.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.